Welcome to Just Minding My Business Radio, where we are moving at the speed of God, learning what we didn't know we didn't know. I'm your host, Ida Crawford.
And I'm your co-host, Ruth Haskins.
So grab a pen and paper and get ready for information that you can use.
Welcome to Just Minding My Business Media, LLC. Consider product placement with Just Minding My Business Media, LLC. With our presence on all major podcast platforms and listeners in over 200 countries, that makes your message international. Visit our website at jmmbmediallc.com to discover digital products to 10x your business. Contact us at jmmbradio@gmail.com. Faith sees the invisible, believes the unbelievable, and receives the impossible. Corey Ten Bloom. Today we welcome authors of the anthology UnShakable Faith to be released June 23, 2022. This book is the work of women who have overcome difficulties that challenged their faith, but their faith was unshakable. The purpose of this anthology is to help you to redirect your emotions, redefine who God says you are, and provide a space in which you can renew yourself. Each chapter ends with 3 questions for you, the reader, to answer that will empower you to move up to your next level. So we are ready to welcome another author from the anthology UnShakable Faith, a book that's to be released on June 23rd of 2022. Right now, we are going to visit with Dr. Essie McCoy, an award-winning educator, #1 podcast host, and a 7 times Amazon and international best-selling author who received her doctorate in education and an education specialist degree from the University of North Carolina at Greensboro, a master's degree from Appalachian State University, and a Bachelor of Science degree from Winston-Salem State University. She has many areas of certification in North Carolina and Virginia, and attended a multitude of leadership programs throughout the nation. Welcome, Dr. McCoy.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. And it is an honor for me to be a guest on your show this evening.
Absolutely. It's an honor to have you. So you've been busy. You
are exactly right. I have. But guess what? I'm here with you tonight, and to God be the glory.
Absolutely. So tell us about your education role, because you seem very passionate about education.
How about that? I am indeed. After 32 years, I am going to be completing my 32nd year this year and look forward to 10 plus more. And I've done quite a bit in the field of education, from being an instructional assistant to being an executive director, a department chair, pre-K through college. So I've also taught at 3 different colleges and universities, and just really want to make an impact and give back and make a difference in the field of education. My podcast show is definitely Dr. Essie Speaks Education, and I continuously invite guests on my show and share a lot of information, lots of resources about education.
Yes. Wow. So I know I'm like really passionate about education too.
Yeah.
Okay, so give us a snippet of some of the areas that you currently support in the education field.
So definitely being a department chairperson in the special education department at a high school in the DMV. I've been a principal at some schools where I had to turn around transformational leadership. I've been an assistant principal at some highly impacted schools. All the work that I've done really has been with a high-risk population, and I say at-promise population, but really making a difference in sharing with students and staff members. Even in my own business, I have an educational consulting business, and I work with educators and share with them best practices, things that they can take and apply to their classroom so that they can continue to enhance their toolkit and continue to serve kids and to build their capacity as well.
Yes. Wow.
Dr. McCoy, what inspired you to put so much effort into the world of education?
Well, I could have been what they call an at-risk student. And so I want others to see that it doesn't matter where you come from, what your last name may be or may not be, what your parents may have or may not have, that you can make it. My father stopped in the 9th grade. My mother stopped in the 8th grade. But I remember my parents continuously telling me to get an education, go to school, get a degree all the time. And so I believed that. I believed it so much that I stayed in school 27 years from the time I went to kindergarten all the way to my doctoral degree. And so 27 years of studying at 12 different colleges and universities in leadership programs from Howard University to Harvard University. And I just want to give back. And, I don't ask for a lot in terms of what I share, but I definitely want it to be a place where I can share information via my podcast or in person or any resource, any platform. And that's what I do. So I just love the field of education. And I always tell young people to love what you do and do what you love. And I try to model that. I love the field of education and making a difference. And I've done a lot of work in that field.
Yes, you have. Yes, you
Okay,
have.
I just have to ask one more question. So within the field of education, I hear you speaking about at-risk youth. Do you do anything particular with adults who
Indeed. Indeed. When I was a practicing administrator, and I was actually an administrator for 20 of my 32 years almost. And so I had the charge to really transform schools. And I would always tell the adults, the parents, the families, that you are your child's first teacher. So that message was so very important that yes, we have your kids for 6+ hours a day. However, you are your child's first teacher and it starts within the home. And we just want to work with you and bridge that gap, be a liaison, have resources in the school, have organizations and partnerships throughout the school community so that we can continue to enhance what we do and how we serve and really transform the lives of students all over this nation. And so I've worked with educators out in the field. I recall when I was at George Mason University, I actually went into 26 different schools in the DMV, just working with educators and trying to help them and groom them and empower them so that they could really go back and share their knowledge and their skills and really impact the lives of kids so that they could one day say, hey, when I get here, I want to be that, I want to do this, and I'm going to make life better for myself. So it's all about sharing and empowering others to do better so that they can be in a better place and a better space.
Mm-hmm. Love it. Love it, love it, love it.
Thank you.
I've got some
Very
people
fun.
I need to connect you with that are just as passionate as you. And we shall definitely talk about that because
Indeed.
hearing you and all of the work that you've done, there's no doubt in my mind that you are super passionate about education.
Indeed, we will connect. Thank you.
Absolutely. So, your chapter in the book, and what made you decide to do a chapter in the book?
Well, I had an opportunity to really be a co-author in a previous anthology with Minister Allison G. Daniels, and she presented this new book, UnShakable Faith, and definitely I told her that we are going to continue to do things together in the future, and God just led me to participate in this project. And because of my lengthy background in the field of education, and you can imagine the families I've worked with, especially in highly impacted schools and communities, the stories that I've heard, and even my own journey in life, I wanted to just pour out and share from that perspective. And it's really, my chapter is entitled My Conversation with God. And it's really just a prayer based on everything I've gone through in my life, based on everything that I've heard, and tried to capture some of those comments from families and parents when they go through those times where it's very trying and very challenging. And, they don't know where to turn, who to look to. And you just cry out and say, God, can you hear me? Are you even there? I can't see you. I can't feel you. It's so much corruption in the world. So much people are committing suicide, so much depression. And so my chapter really goes into all of that. And then also at some point it transitions itself, because I then say, I poured out my heart and soul. I don't know who to turn to, what to turn to, but God, I know that you're there. No matter how low I go, you're there. No matter how many trials I face, you're there. No matter how many tribulations I encounter, you are there. And so hear me, God. I can now hear you and I can see you. And so it's a very powerful chapter, and it comes from
Thank you for tuning in to Just Minding My Business Radio. I'm your host, Ida Crawford.
And I'm your co-host, Ruth Haskins.
We hope you enjoyed the show and appreciate you stopping by. Many blessings to you and yours.